Palestína á að verða fyrirmyndaríki, veraldlegt, lýðræðislegt og friðsamlegt, þar sem allir borgarar njóta sömu réttinda og tækifæra, sama hvors kyns eða hverjar trúar þeir eru. Staðan nú er nokkuð langt frá þessari draumsýn Utanríkisráðherra Palestínu Riad Malki, sem telur þó að endanlegu samkomulagi verði náð við Ísrael á næstu 2 árum. Oft hefur verið reynt að semja frið fyrir botni Miðjarðarhafs síðustu áratugi, en það hefur ávallt farið út þúfur, iðulega vegna viðbragða öfgahópa sem ekki vilja svo mikið sem viðurkenna tilverurétt hinnar þjóðarinnar. Þóra Arnórsdóttir ræddi við Malki möguleikana framundan.
Welcome, Mr. Malki.
Thank you very much.
Now, when the Estonian president was here visiting this year, he said something like, "We just want to become yet another boring Nordic welfare state." What kind of state do you expect or hope that the Palestinian state will be?
My goodness. First of all, a state for all its citizens, with equal opportunities, gender equality, social justice, democracy, transparency, and this is exactly what we are looking for. We want to have a state that will be an example of really to be followed by countries within the region and outside. We have been working very hard to get our own state. We have sacrificed a lot, and I think we deserve to have exemplar kind of state that everybody will look at it and say, we would like to be like them.
Will it be a secular state?
Absolutely, absolutely. This is really a must. We do believe in the segregation and separation between religion and state. We are a secular society, despite the fact that we people are religious, part of them, but we respect the religion of each and every individual. But for us to progress and to prosper, we have to be secular. And this is really, what you call it, way to success. Otherwise, I think, we will be like many other countries who have really failed to succeed and really to provide an opportunity for their own citizens.
Now, you've said that the Palestinians are prepared to make a lot of compromises to get to a final agreement. No army, even a NATO force that could be led by the Americans. How far are you prepared to go?
Well, as it needed, without compromising our basic freedoms and rights and integrity and sovereignty. I think, one wonder, do we need, an army? And for what reason? Army will consume most of the budget. When we are becoming, a newborn state, we need to invest on education, on health, on welfare. So I think, this is really important. Secondly, if Israel fears that about its own security, then, we should really provide Israel with, enough security guarantees. And what better than really stationing NATO forces in our own turf for the time that is really needed in order really to guarantee to Israel that its own security is being really looked at and guaranteed by the NATO force. We are ready, to go to the maximum, as long as that maximum is not really jeopardizing our own integrity or sovereignty.
So a third-party force would be welcome there?
Absolutely, absolutely. It could be 1 soldier, could be 50,000, could be 1 year, could be 50 years. We have no problem, as long as we reach a certain agreement with such international force about their duties, their responsibilities, and their behavior, and their relationship with the locals. This is really very important. The force is not only going to provide certain security assurances to the Israelis, but also it will provide also security assurances to us, because we'll be neighboring to a very strong, powerful state like Israel, and we don't like to see further and constant incursions into Palestinian territory by Israeli troops. I think the presence of the international force is a way really to prevent that from happening, and really to assure the Israelis that no act of animosity will be initiated from a Palestinian territory into theirs.
And they can be international as long as there are no Israeli soldiers.
Absolutely. You know, we cannot tolerate the presence of one Israeli soldier, because the presence of such soldier will remind us about the occupation, and it will mean for many Palestinians and Israelis that, you know, the occupation continues. We cannot tolerate to have one Israeli soldier, even if that Israeli soldier could be a non-Jew. We don't mind, you know, we cannot really tolerate that. But at the same time, we have no problem if the whole international force deployed in Palestine will be all Jews. We have no problem whatsoever, as long as they are not Israelis.
But you have an extreme force in your country called Hamas. What will the reaction to this kind of compromise with Israel and the US mean to them? I mean, people that do not even want to recognize Israel as a state.
It's true, you know, we are having problems, you know, dealing with this particular item. We are trying to engage with Hamas in order really to bring them into the mainstream Palestinian politics. If we don't talk to them, you know, they are isolated, and when they are isolated, you know, it's easy for them, you know, to adopt extremist positions. In Israel, they are doing the same. You know, Israelis, they are embracing Lieberman, who is extreme right-winger, and they are embracing many others, and they are trying through bringing them and including them into the government, you know, to bring them closer to mainstream politics, and they have really succeeded to a certain degree. Why not us doing exactly the same? And I believe that we can really succeed where Hamas will understand that it's vested interest really to be part of a coalition fighting for basic rights and fighting for dignity and integrity and sovereignty of the Palestinian people, rather than, you know, staying in the fringe and calling for slogans that they cannot be achieved or implemented.
There are some huge problems that need to be addressed before you can conclude a peace deal. Refugees, Jerusalem, water, settlements, not least.
Absolutely.
How do you intend to do that? Those are huge issues that have been debated for decades.
You're right. Look, you know, we have been negotiating with Israel over 20 years. And we went through these issues one time, two times, 100 times. We know their positions and they know our positions. So we are not going to start from zero. We are going to start from a position where we know exactly what is needed. Clinton parameters are well known. If you ask any international observer who observed the negotiations, could tell you exactly the type of peace agreement between Israel and Palestine, almost 95% of that deal. So, you know, we are not going to invent anything new. What we are going to build on what we have had already. There is an agreement right now through the quartet that, you know, during this period of 3 months, we should really focus on two issues. First of all, on security and on borders. If we agree on these two and we eliminate these two as conflicting issues, then we could really move into the other issues like Jerusalem, like refugees, like water and others. But anyway, you know, we, the Palestinians, we have already, you know, ideas for solving these problems. When it came to security and borders, we have presented to the quartet our own plans and our vision of exactly the demarcation of the borders of the state of Palestine vis-à-vis the state of Israel. And when it comes to security, General James Jones, who was special envoy of President George W. Bush, you know, spent 2 years in Palestine, and he worked with us and with the Israelis, with the Jordanians and Egyptians, a security plan for the day after. And this plan is there. You know, what we need is really to open up that plan and to look into the applicability of the plan on the ground.
How big do you think the gap is at the moment?
The gap? The
gap between you and the Israelis on these issues?
Well, it depends, you know, from which angle you want to see it. If you want to see it from a positive angle, you know, it is that small. You know, we could really overcome it in a very short period of time. My president says we don't need more than a couple of months before, you know, we conclude, you know, a possible peace agreement. If you ask the Israelis how they see it, they will say, oh, we need to take 40 years. And Netanyahu was talking about 40 years, and Lieberman is talking about something else. He says that, we have to reach economic level in the Palestinian territories to match the Israeli standards, and then we could really start talking about negotiations. So, it seems that, they want to take their time, and they want to keep the occupation because the occupation is profitable for them at all fronts. And so, they show no sign whatsoever that they are sincere and interested in engaging Palestinians through peaceful negotiations.
Iceland formally recognized Palestine as an independent and sovereign state at a ceremony in Reykjavik today. We're not a very big fish in the world pond, but what does it mean?
You are not a big fish, but you are a very beautiful one. And this is really the difference. It meant a lot to us. When a small, far country like Iceland shows great interest in Palestine and comes forward and say, well, I want to see justice, and I want to come forward and recognize the state of Palestine. It meant a lot to us. When a Nordic country, European country, decides to come forward and recognize the state of Palestine, it means that maybe others will follow. So this is important. When Iceland, of course, trying to show an example of solidarity and support and understanding of the suffering of the others, and really to see justice prevailing. This is, for us, is very important. When, of course, we have been, what you call it, on dry season in terms of recognition of the state of Palestine, and we were looking for a country that come forward in order really to create a positive atmosphere, and Iceland really comes forward and says, here I'm coming and to recognize Palestine. So this is really very important. When, Iceland decided that, the recognition should really match with the International Day of Solidarity with the Palestinian people, the 29th of November. This really, for us, is important in terms of significance. And so, we will protect that recognition, and we will try to work very hard in order for the Icelandic people, the parliament and the government will not be disappointed at all by taking such courageous decision.
When do you think that you will live in a secure, sovereign Palestinian state in peaceful cohabitation with your neighbors? What is your time scheme? I know you want to see it happen fast. Realistically, when do you think it will happen?
That's very, very difficult question. But, I think it's going to happen within 2 years' time. I see it happening, we are right now entering into 2012. We will do our best, to achieve it in 2012. But I know, the difficulties in that. But, if not 2012, it's going to be 2013. That's really for sure. And it will be a success not only for us, but to all the countries that, have really helped us to achieve that. I know that, realities are really changing, and people are starting really to get fed up of this stalemate in the peace process. And they feel that, solving the Palestinian problem is already overdue in terms of time. And there is right now great consensus among the independent nations that, it's time to see a Palestinian independent state as a member in the United Nations. So I know that there are certain obstacles right now by certain superpower for domestic reasons.
When you say certain superpower, there aren't very many superpowers in the world.
Yeah. You could just, guess.
Yes.
And so we will wait. If we cannot really get it in 2012, we will wait until they finish their internal business. And so in 2013, I think,
which is elections in the U.S.
I think, we will be able to celebrate all, the establishment, or not the establishment, the admission of the State of Palestine as a full member in the United Nations.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you.